Good morning, traders, and this is your Dax day trade setup for today. So just kicking off with a small account, we've kind of gone backwards last week. I think we started the week at 19.6. We've closed at 19.443. A couple of bad decisions, but a lot of volatility and confusion in the market, which also didn't bode well for a lot of the decision making I made. Anyway, but nevertheless, it's well within 2% risk for the week as well. So I'm quite happy with that. We'll recover that quite quickly. Okay, so the first step here is looking at the weekly. We've got quite a big weekly engulfing pattern, which has engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. Okay, there's the up and there's the close. So that's engulfed 9 weeks. Now, it could be an exhaustion bar. Very possible to be a weekly exhaustion bar. But I think you're going to have to give a benefit of the doubt based on the trend. The trend is pretty strong on the weekly. We've gone sideways, back to the trend line, and now we've got a fairly strong bar. The daily is another picture. So we've kind of ended up with a piercing pattern. If I can just get this to the middle. Okay, so in other words, we gapped up above it and we closed below the 50% of the previous day's bar. So that is a piercing pattern, and a piercing pattern is a reversal pattern. Okay, oscillators are kind of all over the place, apart from the Williams percentage R, which is indicating a double top and kind of agreeing with that picture. So there's a couple of scenarios here. So the first one is we have got a daily close above this previous double top high here. So for me at the moment, I still believe that this is a break of the range to the upside. The fact that we came back and closed not on it, just below it, or just above it, sorry, it still to me could be a retest. Okay, so it could just be a retest of the break before another move to the upside. So the one way that we can start paying attention for that is on the higher time frames. Okay, so you can see there we've tested it on the 3-hour. We still grouped pretty much in an overbought environment. So in other words, you would expect some profit taking or some selling to happen. The question you've got to ask yourself is to where? So we've got this level here. We then have this fractal level, and then you have the gap. Okay, now looking at the trend is pretty strong to the upside. So it is looking like it's rounding, and this was a bit of a flag, but that flag target has been met. So if you just put it, oh, not that. We want a equidistance channel. There it is. So we had a flag, and the target of the flag would have been the bottom here, or alternatively the height of the flag as the next target. And you can see we're pretty close to that target at the moment. Okay, so I think for me at the moment, we're going to pick this up off the lower time frames. So the hour, if you look at the oscillators, we're grouping to an area where we should be buying. So it is a level, and we've got a pin bar off a level. So that to me is an indication that we should be pretty wary of any shorts at the moment. Okay, even though we are below the moving averages at the moment, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have had a trend change, because we need to see a rally, a retest of the break, and then a continuation to the downside. That would give us confirmation, especially on the hour. Okay, so you can see, if you have an example here, you can see here we broke, we then retested there, and that was your confirmation on a break below this bar, and then it's got a little bit of a move back to the downside. Same scenario here, it broke through, it retested, it broke again, and it hasn't really retested again. Okay, so you're always looking for that retest. Here's another one, it broke down, came up, retested the break, and then continued to the downside. Okay, same scenario here, broke through, came back, tested the break with this bar here, and then gapped up the next day. Okay, so that's kind of the price action we're looking for. So for a confirmation of a trend change, I'm looking for a move back to the upside. It needs to test the moving averages, reject them, and then on that rejection bar, you're looking to enter on a break below that bar. Okay, so at this stage, trend is still up. Okay, let's just move to some other scenarios here. So if we look at the 12 minutes, exact same scenario here. You can see we broke through, came back, tested the break, and then moved to the downside. Okay. At the beginning of the day, we were all over the place. Remember, when we see tails like this, that's barbed wire. We don't really want to be trading when we see tails like that. Very difficult to handle. And then the last thing is, if you look at the close, this is obviously profit taking for people that are not wanting to hold their positions over the weekend, which is always a wise decision at the moment. And we've ended up with a pin bar and then a confirmation. So there are two fractal levels here. There's the first one, which would trigger a long for me anyway. So that is 13,482. And then obviously there's a fractal down here at 13,437. So 50 points range. If we just look at the international markets at the moment, DAX futures is up 0.3%. All the US futures are up 0.3%. That's because Hang Seng's up 0.6% at the moment. So ever so slightly up at the moment. Not entirely convinced we have a direction at the moment, to be honest with you. I think Friday was really just some profit taking from this move, because you could see we had a pretty strong move, then we went sideways for Thursday, and then Friday carried on sideways, and I think a lot of people just got out of that. I'm still expecting that all-time high to be tagged, to be honest, and we are fairly close to that, and that is around 13,600. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm still expecting. Okay, so for today, I think what you want to be doing is watch what's happening on sort of the 12-50 minute chart, because you do have a bit of a trend line here as well. You've got some levels here which I think will need to hold. If we do start getting below 13,447, then your target is going to be the gap close. And I think at the gap close for me would be another opportunity to be buying. Okay, and then before we get on to the Ichimoku, the other thing to pay attention to, remember that DAX loves channels. Okay, so it's always looking to form a channel. And if you look at this carefully at the moment, you'll see there's a channel forming. Okay, so even a pullback back down to, I wouldn't say that level, but definitely that area there. So a pullback back to this gap close will be bottom of channel 13,381. So that's still bottom of channel, which would indicate an opportunity to buy. Okay, so let's just quickly get across to the Ichimoku. Don't think it's going to change much, but it may. Okay, starting with the 12 minutes, you can see bearish, bearish, everything is bearish. We had a twist bearish here, pretty strong to the downside as well. And if I look at the oscillators, it's indicating that there's more downside coming. Okay, so that's that. If we look at the 30 minutes, look at this big pin bar of the 30 minutes. Everything is bearish, 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 but a little bit flat here. And we are in the cloud, so you would expect a lot of resistance here. Looking at the hour, we've got a bearish cross, but look at the size of the cloud here. Not really going to read much into that. And I'll tell you now, the way we trade that. So if we just come back to the hour, you can see there's warning bells here that we've got bearish crosses and we've got a lot of support. So yes, I would expect a little bit more downside. So this gap would be ideal still at bottom of cloud. If we look at the 4 hour, you can see how far we are from Kijinsen. So you would expect some kind of a pullback. Okay. And then I want to see Kijin start moving to the upside. I don't want to see this, because if we see this, then Dickinson will start rounding like this and then cross over Kijinsen, and then you've got a bearish cross, and by that time everything will be bearish, and then you've got a higher time frame, a bearish turn. Okay. And if we look at the daily, we have a piercing pattern. You can see there's our piercing pattern, but everything else on Ichimoku is bearish. Sorry, is bullish. Listen to me. So we've got a Chico span that's through price here. We've got a bullish cross. We've got a cloud that's green, but look at the thickness of the cloud here. So technically, we could come close a gap. We could even come all the way back down to the bottom of this range. That's also a possibility. Okay, so yeah, the longer we stay in this area, it's been 2 months now, and you can see it was gentle, then volatile and more volatile. The volatility is increasing at the moment, and so yeah, I'm still going to err on the side of being bullish at the moment. I really don't see, until we break through the bottom of this range, I don't see anything else at the moment. The only thing is to be trading with a trend. So any pullback is an opportunity to buy. It doesn't matter whether we come to the bottom of this range again, an opportunity to buy. That's kind of where we are. And if we just look at the weekly, you can see pointing up. Everything is extremely bullish on the weekly. And the monthly, you're looking, monthly is indicating that there should be some kind of a pullback. Okay, so for me today, let's get back to the proper templates here. For me today, I am looking at, see what happens at the open, and see what direction we go. If we do start continuing to the downside, then more than likely the target's going to be this gap. Okay, but at this point, I think I'd be looking to buy. Okay, so any move down to the gap, remember, just draw your channel line in at the bottom. So it's from fractal to fractal. Okay, and you can see you've got a level plus. So you've got a couple of things happening here. You've got a 200 EMA, you've got a gap, and you've got a trend line. So this is the area that I'd be looking to buy. Okay, so 13,366 is the area that I'd be interested in buying. And looking for that all-time high still. I really do believe that that's going to tag. I don't believe that the bulls are going to leave that alone. They got fairly close twice now, so I would expect the third time that they start attacking it. Okay, so that's kind of my view at the moment. So any pullback I'm looking to buy. If we do sort of break above 15,482, I'll be looking to buy as well. Just have a stop below this pin bar here, and your targets, you're going to have to look left, because this congestion here is going to offer a lot of resistance. So you're going to see opportunities to take profit around here, and then I would expect another move, sort of more choppy trading or up and down trading, and then hopefully a break to the upside. Otherwise, we're looking for a move back to the downside to consolidate before another move to the upside. So I think, for me anyway, is these two fractals. Let's just get rid of that level. So these two fractals here on the 12 minutes are the one that we're looking for. They're not on the 20, and they're not on the half hour. But this pin bar and this pin bar here, that to me is a double bottom. Okay, and that's on the half hour. And if I look at that on the Bollinger Bands, we should see closed outside the Bollinger Band, closed inside the Bollinger Band. So that's a Bollinger W potential pattern as well. Okay, only thing we have to the left is this gap still. Okay, so my advice today, be patient, wait for the open. I'd actually even wait for that full first hour of pre-market trading, see what happens, and then make a decision based on that. But if it is sort of moving to the downside, to me that'll be a scalp back down to close a gap. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'd be looking at the moment. Okay, so break the fractional to the upside. We're looking for upside. Break this low to the downside, and then we're looking for downside. Okay, now the other thing to bear in mind is that we have broken this fractal here. So what you could see is, depends where we end. At the moment, we're dropping at the moment. So the DAX futures is dropping back a little bit at the moment. So if this fractal is defended, then you're definitely going to get gap close first. So in other words, we open in this area, we bounce around here, and we start moving to the downside. That's a short, nice tight stop, and your target's going to be the gap. And that's going to be a buying opportunity with a relatively tight stop. As soon as you see some price action, something like this, off that level, that'll be an opportunity to buy with a very tight stop and see how it goes. Okay, anyway guys, that's my view at the moment. Scalp down to the gap and then looking for opportunities to buy off the bottom of the channel. Hope it helps, and I will catch you guys later. Cheers for now.